Making circumstances consciously irrelevant is a choice as God. Welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with this. I am your host. And on today's video, we're just going to go through why circumstances don't matter and why your actual experiencing of those circumstances in such a way where you are acknowledging, okay, this doesn't matter. It is actually irrelevant. And not just saying it as words, right? Now, there's a man, his name is Miles Davis. He's a blues player. I don't believe he's currently alive. And I heard him say something very interesting. And he was at school, music school. It's a school called Juilliard, if you're not familiar. And he was in a lecture, and the lecturer was saying something that you need this kind of pain, you need this kind of experiencing to play the blues. And Miles Davis is one of the most famous blues players there ever was. He's a trumpeter. And he raised his hand and he said, my dad's rich, my mother's pretty, and I can play the blues. I've never suffered and I don't intend to. Now, what's the story really saying, right? And remember, as I am awareness, you are imagination itself. You are experiencing imagination from a physically focused point of the same consciousness that is imagining. So when you are imagining something, you are that same consciousness creating that entire world. That means everyone in that world already exists in that way. And you have that fixed, focused point, the point of view, okay? So Miles is basically responding to himself, a version of himself that he no longer or doesn't choose to believe in. A version that is saying, hey, you need X and Y to be a blues player. And he says, no, I don't. I am a blues player. So from the law of assumption, that I am perspective. That quote is the whole point. Suffering does not cause or teach you anything. So circumstances don't do anything to you, nor do they cause you to be something. You could say that, oh, well, maybe Miles is not staying in his assumption then, because why would that question come up? But the question coming up doesn't matter. It's actually irrelevant. Its relevancy to you is how you experience it. It doesn't matter when you experience it in the way you prefer either, because there's no amount of time between you, your preferred version, or any other one. So you can imagine something happening 20 years ago, saying, okay, that's no longer my preference. I choose this me. And you are that you right now because it's superimposed. So you don't need suffering to actually become the person you desire to be. It's not just suffering, it's requirements. Circumstances and conditions look any different because they're all superimposed onto your own awareness right now. The idea that you need to suffer, struggle, prove yourself, or have some painful backstory in order for you to be that real you that you desire to be, that's actually just another story you are choosing to believe as true. You're not even questioning whether what you believe in is true or not. So Miles, in a metaphysical way, is saying that conditions and circumstances do not make me a blues player. I am one. It doesn't mean he never experienced pain in his life. He's saying it's not defined by that pain. Him being a blues player is not defined by anything else other than I am a blues player. And I do not need anything or anyone to tell me or not tell me who I am. I do not need to have suffered to be able to play the blues. I do not need a story to validate who I am. But you making that conscious decision, any decision you make, the way you desire to experience something and the manner in which you desire to experience it and the reasoning as to why you choose to experience it that way is always an act of God. Because you are God acting. And that is the same with any identity. You do not need some oppressive, shameful, rejection-filled, hard past or painful experience because you heard it on TV, you heard it on some YouTube channel, you read it in some book where I went through trials and tribulations so I can prove myself. You did nothing. You did not prove anything other than your own experiencing as a version of yourself as that. It didn't get you to point B. You're always at point B. You are literally allowed to want what you want and be who you are because you are the awareness choosing the experience right now, and it's to be who you are because you are already it. Now, the depth of identity experiencing, it's not duration. Like how much you are willing to feel and be this person you desire to be, it's completely up to you. It's completely and utterly up to you. Like the amount of time you spend being a version of yourself that you desire to be, it doesn't matter. Because the depth of that identity is not how long you spend doing it. The identity is not in time. You don't become something because you spent enough time suffering or waiting or proving or healing or learning or being tested. There's no test. It feels like a test because we have so many choices. But there's two choices and then choice of being. And one of the first two choices is I am not, which doesn't even exist. So it's only an experience of the first choice. It's always the first choice. It's literally only one choice. The second one is an illusion of separation from you and everything that you want, but it's still the first choice. It's I am. It's always I am. And then everything else is there. So not is part of I am not. I am healthy. I am loved. I am everything I desire to be. And I am that I am. It's there. It's not actually here. This is why I am experiencing it not mattering to me because I am. Because it is completely different from I am experiencing this mattering to me because I am not. So it must matter to me. One is standing in identity and the other one is still making the circumstances the thing that decides whether you are or not. If something matters as a problem, as a proof of a condition, as a thing that decides who you are, then you are giving that story authority. And that doesn't mean to say you're not feeling the problem itself. You can't be like, that's not a problem, that's not a problem, that's not a problem, but really thinking it is a problem. Acknowledge and acceptance and allowing. Somebody asked me about surrender. That's what it is, right? You acknowledging what is happening. No, I am feeling this bill. I know the bill isn't happening to me. I know the money going down my bank account isn't happening to me. I know the specific people not coming into my life is not happening to me. It's a happening of experience, and I'm choosing consciously to make it irrelevant, even if my reactions can feel emotional, even if my thoughts can feel confusing and overwhelming. I'm just choosing that it is irrelevant, no matter how I feel about it, no matter what I'm thinking about, no matter how I react to it. I'm choosing irrelevancy and knowing that I actually am everything anyway. Now, nothing changes out there in the way people usually think about it that it does, because there's no one fixed out there being changed. You see, your physical form is not fixed. It's changing along with the rest of all physical form in every single snapshot of the moment because it's already itself. You can think of a photograph. Everything around the physical form that you are doesn't change. If you change something around the physical form of the photograph, the entire thing changed. Even the physical version of you is now in a new photograph. So that old physical identity, that old circumstance, that old reality, they stay exactly how they are. So not necessarily old, just a previous version that you were aware of, and now you're aware of more, but they must have always existed at the same time. So old is another story of perspective. Because you're further along in your own awareness, you think that what you were aware of previously must be older because I saw it first. Now it's there because it's in my awareness for longer. But understand, it's all now. That version does not need to become something else, right? It's complete. You consciously shift into another desired version of yourself in every single moment. You're continuously outflowing. You can imagine yourself as a waterfall, just always changing but being a waterfall, just changing all the time. And it immediately changes what it is the moment you decide what you are. And you can't just change the waterfall, it must change the future flow and the previous flow all at the same time. It's one idea, but we think because we need to change something somewhere else, then because of the 3D physically focused effect, we base how the effect looks on what awareness is doing, but awareness is being everything. If you think about it really carefully, right? When we are interacting with a river in the 3-dimensional world, we dam it here and it blocks it. We do things at certain points. But understand, awareness is not doing something at a certain point. Awareness is being everything as that point. So from your point of view, you are the only source of your experience. Everyone else's point of view in their reality, they are the source of their experience. But what you experience from your point of view is what you shift to already having existed like that. So while they are experiencing, they're not changing. They're just experiencing what was already there for them. And that moment you experience that snapshot, it has already gone back to potential. So the old story doesn't need to be destroyed or kicked or hated or anything. That old body doesn't need to be fixed. It's just there. It's not even old. Again, those old things are not old. Old is just a word. It's referring to something. The word old and the word new existed at the same time, because everything else did too. So it doesn't need to be dragged forward and made different. You aren't dragging your past with you. You're creating it right now. So you're dragging the idea with you. You simply stop selecting it as your continued reality. When I say dragging the idea with you, I don't mean literally. I just mean you bringing up the idea again, recreating a past that looks very similar to what you think you experienced. You're not changing the old snapshot. You are no longer choosing it as the next one. So irrelevancy is not pretending something is not appearing. Irrelevancy is consciously making the appearance of a story in your own awareness filtered out because you are choosing to stand in your identity. Not in what you could experience, what you have experienced, or what you may be feeling right now. You can leave all of that there. You can feel it all completely. In fact, feel it all completely and then choose again. That's making it irrelevant. This is irrelevant. I'm gonna dive in head first, feel it fully. Yeah, sometimes you feel like crying. Sometimes you feel like screaming. Sometimes you feel super angry. Sometimes you feel like punching a hole through the door. Sometimes you feel like you just want to break down. Sometimes you feel like you want to give up. Sometimes you feel like the suffering will not end. Sometimes you feel as if the thing that you want to be doing, the thing that you want to be having, the thing that you want to be experiencing as your dream life seems so far away that you can't even move from where you are right now, and it seems absolutely impossible. Feel all of that. Feel all of that in the knowing that it's only a story that you're telling right now. You are consciously choosing to make it irrelevant and choose again. You're choosing it to be irrelevant and choose again, because choosing again makes it irrelevant. I'm choosing again because I'm choosing to make that irrelevant and choose again. You are not saying this cannot appear. You are saying this appearance does not decide who I am. A circumstance can appear, a thought can appear, a feeling can appear, a memory can appear, a comment can appear, but if you're no longer accepting it as the truth of who you are, it becomes irrelevant. Not because it doesn't exist. All things exist. Existence exists. You can't experience something that doesn't exist. You wouldn't have been aware of it in any way as an experience, because it is not your selected reality. Your selected reality is the continuousness of who and what you say you are, not the appearing momentary effects of what you are. Infinity. You're infinity. Anything can pop up. But as that infinity, you've defined yourself. So that is popping up. That is what making circumstances consciously irrelevant means. You are deciding I am, from I am, as I am, not from the appearance that is also I am, but not the I am that you desire to be. You are deciding from the identity you choose, not from the reality you could react to. And of course you want those things to pop up. Sometimes you don't even know that you want things to pop up. Otherwise, how would you even have been aware of what you desire right now? It popped up at some point. It's one of those things that pop up. You just happen to like it. And more things pop up and you may happen to like that. It's like, oh, I really like that. You don't even think about it. Oh, I feel like having ice cream now. It's exactly the same thought as anything else. Even if something feels real in the moment, your knowing is this is not the story I am giving authority to. This is not the version I am selecting. This is not what I decide is me. I do. Making circumstances consciously irrelevant is a choice of God, as God. Because you are God. So there's only ever you happening. Not because you force yourself to stop thinking that I don't like this. Not because you are denying what appears, but because you know the appearance has no authority unless you choose it as true. Appearances never have authority over what you're defining yourself to be. They can't. How can it? Now, there was a question, this is fascinating. What's the correct way to understand surrender? And they brought up another person's point of view of surrender. And it kind of led me down this expression of saying it this way. There's no spoon matrix, right? So there's no reality out there because the spoon doesn't belong as an objective thing. It's just called a spoon. That's the experience of holding a spoon, right? But it's not real. It's digitized in the matrix. It's digitized information of yourself and what a spoon might be and the experience of what that is. So it's not actually an objective reality. So in the same way, there's no correct way to understand surrender because there is no surrender in that way. There's an idea of what it might be, and you are the idea of however that looks, however you desire to experience it. The idea of surrender is how you decide to experience reality, your reality experience. It's how you have now desired to experience your reality by allowing it completely, whatever that looks like, which is your own awareness of yourself. And yes, it sounds very spiritual. It's nothing is spiritual. It's all spirit. Nothing is spiritual. It's all spirit. So here's the thing. If there was a physically focused, specific way of surrendering, then everybody would just do it that way or feel it that way. So what is it then? Right? Surrendering to the moment of knowing, to the moment to knowing that the specific moment, the specific story I am experiencing has no meaning outside of awareness. However you choose to experience that is that. Because when awareness is being aware of something, awareness is being it. So when you are aware of something, you are being it. Being the idea of whatever you are referring to or experiencing in the currently physically focused manifested frame of reality itself. It has no story other than the one you are actually giving it. It has no meaning outside of the story that you are experiencing it. It doesn't mean you can't name the appearance. Like if you see a pandemic, you're going to call it a pandemic. But it is an experience and it's not an objective reality. It's not an objective object. You see a circumstance, you're going to name the circumstance a bill or something. A bill and myself not having money to pay said bill or having money to pay said bill. Both are named as the experience, but of one singular story, but it has no power outside of that. A problem is an experience, but there's no real problem. There's no real problem that requires a solution for the problem to stop existing. The problem exists in all scripts. The solution exists in all scripts because it's only a script. But it is not an objective object existing on its own with its own built-in meaning, power, or direction. Remember, meaning is not name. Like you having a name, that doesn't mean anything. It's your name. What you're giving it meaning is that people will call me by this name. I will call myself by this name. That's the meaning you are giving it. But the appearance named is you just having a name like anything else. Oh, there's the bill. It only has meaning as the story awareness is being aware of. And when that awareness is aware of something, awareness is being the experiencing of it. So if you don't have money, or you see a specific person in somebody else, that's the appearance. That I don't have money to pay this bill. That version of that specific person and that version of that specific person, I am experiencing them being a couple. I am reality. That's not reality. That is an experience of reality. I am reality. I always have money to pay these bills so much to the point where I pay them and forget about them. And yeah, that version of them are together. I don't stop that. I can't stop that, but it's always changing because it's always changing into who and what I am. So I'm with that person. You are with that person. Everyone is with a version of them as a version of themselves. Right now, superimposed, always existing. So there's no pandemic, there's no spoon, there's no correct way, there's no spiritual guru's take on this. There is nothing that is a fact of reality unless you say it is a fact of reality. The only actual fact of reality is that you are reality, because that is a universal experience, as in I am. Then you exist, right? The idea then of surrender is to drop the idea that the physical you, which is part of those scripts existing in the moment and changing along with everything else, moment to moment, does anything, or that something specific is happening to it. Reality does not happen to your physical form. You are experiencing reality as reality through your physical form or through your senses of that physical form. You choose to light up your dream life, be aware of it, imagine it, assume it, and be it, surrender to the knowing that what you are telling a story of is the actual only story that is happening, regardless of anything that happens, because none of it is separate from anything else. When you imagine and you're changing scenes, there's no wall between those scenes. Those are the scenes. Source creates a bridge between those scenes in your physically focused experience, so you can experience those scenes. But in reality, you are one with both, and there's no actual wall between them. You are just saying, I want to experience these things in the manner of my physically focused self. And you're surrendering to that, knowing that there's quite literally nothing you should, can, have to, or could do about the present moment, because there is no actual present moment that is fixed. It doesn't mean you're not going to take action. It means action comes from your being first. So it's automatic from state, following the script, knowing that it is leading you to yourself. Because that's literally the only thing that exists. Yourself as the experience of surrender comes from knowing that there is nothing for you to actually do. Because you couldn't do something to make something happen. That's an absolute illusion. It's part of the experience. Anything. You can think of anything. So no, if I put the air conditioner on, I'm going to press the button, the air conditioner is coming on. All of that entire experience is one experience of one reality, all happening now, and you experience it in that way. It's one experience. You can do it anything, because it's all the same. It is the knowing that reality is automatically always outputting my own fulfillment of who and what I say I am. There is nothing to actually fight against or resist, because it is all you or me or whatever. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Research Reality with Reese. Much love, much light. Remember, any decision you make, any decision you make for anything, it's an act of God. Even the illusion of thinking that I'm making a decision because I need something, that's still an act of God, just from unconsciousness. So you can't play out that where I need, and I don't have. But you can know that, yeah, I want money in the moment because I don't have any to buy something. Yeah, I don't have it, and you're going to feel the want of it. And feel it fully. So yeah, yes, I want money pretty much immediately because I don't have any to pay for this thing. I know I want that. I know I feel it. I know I have those thoughts. I don't have to kick them to the curb or try and figure out how to surrender to whatever's going on. I know I want money. I know this is a story that's happening. I know I am one with all stories, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I should do about it. I'm choosing to light up who I am regardless of this, allowing this to unfold however it's unfolding, because it must be unfolding perfectly, even if I can't see it, even if right now I'm not even believing that. I'm choosing that anyway. And that's really just the expression of all of it. Remember, and the way you experience it, that's entirely up to you. And you do feel that elatedness, but you don't have to stay in that elatedness, because you're just going to go and flow through more of yourself, no matter how that feels. Thank you for joining me. Much love, much light. Thank you for the questions, as always. I do like to combine a bunch of things and make one video about all of that. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking. And I will see you all in the next one.